Welcome to the Robotics Through Science Fiction podcast. I'm Robin Murphy, and in this podcast, I'll use James Cambios' short story, Balancing Accounts, to discuss how autonomy initiative works and why robots probably won't take over the world. Balancing Accounts is a solid short story, sort of a combination of the hard science of Vernor Vinge, the economic capitalism of Charlie Stross's Saturn's Children, and the robot's point of view from Martha Wells' Murderbot Diaries. Though there's no snarky humor, this is more like Art's point of view. The story follows Annie, an autonomous space tug, as she has to deal with a mysterious cargo. Besides being a good read, the story is a great illustration of the concepts of autonomy and initiative. Now, a major misperception about robots is that full autonomy means that robots can decide to take over the world. And that's because one definition, the common definition of autonomy, comes from social science, where it means the free will of the individual, the right and ability to politically govern oneself or citizens. It means manifest destiny, that sort of thing. Okay? But there's another definition. Engineers use the word autonomy to mean, look, Ma, no hands. We use it to mean automatic processes. The profession started using the words autonomy and self-governing back in 1788 when James Watt used a centrifugal governor to automatically stop steam production before a steam engine exploded. Now, a centrifugal governor is one that uses spinning fly balls. The more steam being produced, the more coming out of the output shaft, causing the fly ball mechanism to turn faster. The faster the mechanism turns, the higher the centrifugal force, and that raises the arms with the metal ball. So when the arms get high enough, they trip a switch, hopefully set to go off before an explosion. So while this is called self-governing and self-regulating, it's not self-governing in the political meaning of the word, nor does it imply that the mechanism or robot has any initiative. But, as with the robots in Balancing Accounts, you might want a robot to have some initiative. In the story, the robot transport ships and the robot service robots are working around Saturn, far out of the effective communication range to constantly ask a human supervisor what to do. Annie has to have some flexibility in order to adapt to new situations, make quick decisions, and in this case, maximize the money she makes for the investors who built it, which is the reason why she exists. One of the earliest explorations of robot initiative was for the RoboCup domain, the domain of robot soccer. Just like with the human team, you'd like the individual robots to be able to opportunistically cover for a damaged or malfunctioning robot or to adapt to a never-seen-before new play. This means the robot may have to jump out of a standard script and into a different one, or to react in ways that do not require the designer to have explicitly enumerated all the possibilities to handle that specific situation, because no one's ever thought of that specific situation or can think of all of them. That ability to change or go off script, within limits, is initiative. People tend to associate initiative with intelligence and use those terms interchangeably, which can really add to the confusion over robots and general artificial intelligence. Coleman and Hahn proposed 5 types or levels of initiative. The lowest level is no autonomy, where the robots in RoboCop soccer strictly play their role in the soccer team and follow the script for reaching their objective. The problem with the no autonomy is that the programmer has to have thought of every possible situation. Now, the next 2 levels are process autonomy and system state autonomy, where the robots are allowed to determine how to reach the objective. For example, sometimes going to the left instead of the right, rather than simply follow a script by rote. In intentional autonomy, the individual robots are allowed to go outside of their programming in order to better meet the objectives of the team. For example, a robot might expand its area of coverage for defense because another defender is damaged and not working very well. The highest level of initiative is constraint autonomy, where the robot can discard, or what we call relax, constraints on the plan for reaching the individual or the team objective. For example, my script says I should cover robot X and robot Y, and then I should chase the ball if it becomes available, but I can't do all 3 well at once. I'm going to chase the ball because that has the highest value for the team objective. Okay, It relaxed two of the three constraints so that it could do that third one. If a robot has constrained autonomy, it can take over the world, right? No. Constrained autonomy is still subject to the robot's bounds. We're discarding constraints, not objectives. So unless the original objective was to take over the world, it wouldn't. Annie has constrained autonomy. She exhibits the highest level of initiative and what pretty much anyone would agree was really intelligent behavior. But she is bounded by the task or mission of making a return on investment for her sponsors. So unless we give robots the explicit mission of taking over the world, we aren't going to have robots take the initiative to have the uprising, or to become overly protective of humans, as in Jack Williamson's With Folded Hands short story. Balancing Accounts is in the We Robots anthology, edited by Ellen Castor. If you want to learn more about initiative, there's a chapter in Robotics Through Science Fiction, Artificial Intelligence, explained through 6 classic robot short stories that covers this. It uses Asimov's short story, Catch the Rabbit, to discuss levels of initiative. You might also want to read Vernor Vinge's short story, Long Shot. It's also in Robotics Through Science Fiction, and you may want to read that short story anyway, because Elsie, the robot spaceship, has a lot in common with Annie. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel and newsletter so you won't miss a thing.